All right, so we got almost 40 people in here now.
Go.
So I'm gonna do the plug up top here. We're gonna start with our sponsors from Underdog Fantasy, the newest and best place to play fantasy sports and win big prizes. Tonight might be the last time that you can fade my picks for the NBA season if the Nuggets win like we all expect them to in Game 5. Go on there today. Use the promo code SLOP, that's SLOP, to put higher on Bam Adebayo's points and higher on Michael Porter Jr.'s points. Tonight, I think that these are probably going to lose. So once again, fade my pick. So you probably want to go lower on both of those. I just figured law of averages for Michael Porter Jr. and Bam Adebayo. They're just giving him anything that he wants. So go on there right now. Promo code SLOP. $100 deposit match. Supports the program. All that jazz. But now we can actually get to the fun stuff, why you guys came in here. And that is the NBA mock draft that we will be doing for the 2023 season. I will be pulling up Fanspo in 1 second, and we will be doing picks 1 through 21. And you might be asking yourself, why the hell are you doing 21 picks? Because we're going to do the obvious number 1 pick. Everyone knows who that's going to be, plus 20 more picks, a little bit more than the lottery, so you get like an idea of what this class looks like. Right now, we have already set up the order. I sent it to everyone earlier, but we're going to be controlling teams. We can do trades in this mock draft, but if you want to do a trade and you're a team that has, so for example, me and Sam each have a Utah Jazz pick. We have to agree to the terms of that trade in addition to whoever has the other pick that we're trading for. If you want to do a trade, you can trade players that are currently on the team. You can trade future picks. You can do it all on Fanspo because Fanspo rules. So we're going to start up top with me. I'm going to have the number 1 overall pick.
But before you make your selection,
what's that?
You're getting a call from the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, shit.
You're getting a call
already
from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're calling you from inside the house.
Gilgeous-Alexander?
You are getting... So I am Sam Presti. I'm visibly drunk. I'm covered in blood. The trade offer is Chet Holmgren, number 2 pick from last year's draft. 2026 round 1 pick via the Los Angeles Clippers. 2024 round 1 pick via Houston. 2025 round 1 pick swap via either Houston or Clippers, whichever is higher. 2025 round 1 pick via
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't care. Is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the trade in addition to all this other stuff?
No, he's not.
Okay, then I will not be even entertaining anything along these lines. I'm not trading Victor Wembanyama
This is 6 first-round picks, including
anything less than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and all those picks.
The number 2 pick in last year's draft.
So I will be drafting Victor Wembanyama.
Before you lock that in, Charlotte rings in a call real quick. Michael Jordan on his way out the door, having last thoughts. He was waiting to see if he would get Vic before he stepped out the door. And he's just sending you a quick text. He's not even picking up the phone. He's a texting guy. He's a big iPad guy.
He's a huge iPad guy.
Really big iPad guy.
All right, give me the offer.
Now, I want to be clear. This hurts my soul, but LaMelo Ball, next year's top 3 protected first.
Not even pick 2?
Not pick 2. We got to keep it.
Then good night.
Wait. Okay.
Goodbye. I'm not.
You're trading the face of our league for a French guy. The most important man in all of organized basketball for a French 19-year-old.
I'd just like to point out there's no red lights to run in San Antonio.
Exactly. He can just be.
It's his league.
Upside. Right. Trill, you really wouldn't do for 6 first-round picks in Chet Holmgren. No. You wouldn't do Wemby.
No. I like Chet a lot. Chet's awesome.
Yeah.
I would
6 first-round picks.
Wemby is another level of prospect. Let's just talk about what level Wemby has to reach, assuming he stays healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What level does Wemby have to reach to not be considered a disappointment?
Karl Anthony Towns.
What? Okay. You gotta be way better than Karl Anthony.
No, he can be Karl Anthony Towns. Not only bad.
Anthony,
if he gets like a couple All-Star teams, like maybe he takes them to the playoffs, everyone will blame Pop because he's 97 years old. It'll never be his fault.
The Anthony Davis career arc is, I think, a appropriate, non-disappointing career arc for.
That's fair. Anthony Davis makes more sense to me because Anthony Davis at his peak was a top 5 player. He was the second best player on a championship team. If it weren't for injuries, he probably has even more All-Star appearances than he currently does. He's been one of the best players in the NBA for a decade. So that's the kind of level I think. So we're talking about a guy who's one of the 75, could end as one of the 50 greatest players of all time if he continues to go on the track that he's on now, if he can stay healthy in these next few years. So there's like that level I think he needs to reach to not be considered a disappointment. I'm going to go even further and say that if Victor Wembanyama stays healthy, he's going to be one of the 10 greatest players of all time. I think that I've never seen any prospect that I watched Anthony Davis in college. He was incredible. Zion was amazing. Luka was great. But if Victor Wembanyama stays healthy, has the career that I believe in San Antonio, which is going to give him great infrastructure, they're going to make all the right moves around him, I think. They're going to probably have Pop and then potentially Kerr coaching him. I think he's going to be one of the best. Like, we've just never seen a player that is his size with his skill set. And I just don't know how he's not going to be potentially a top 5 offensive and defensive player in the NBA. Maybe a little bit. Like, I think that the offense, the playmaking will really have to kind of determine what level he can reach as an offensive player. He's certainly going to be an amazing scorer. But, I mean, look, if you're talking about Kevin Durant mixed with Rudy Gobert potentially, that's and with better perimeter defense than Rudy Gobert, you're talking about an unbelievable prospect. And I've watched a decent amount of him. I haven't watched nearly as much as some other people have watched, and people that know the draft more than me. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time if he stays healthy. And the health is the big question mark with him. That still is a thing when you're built like him or Chet Holmgren or anyone who's built that way. You always have to worry about that. And like, we've seen plenty of really promising prospects throughout their career never live up to the hype because of the injuries, including Anthony Davis. Like, Anthony Davis, I would say appropriately lived up to the hype, just was never able to stay healthy. I mean, Zion's a different build, but like guys like Ralph Sampson is someone who comes to mind that people have talked about a lot from the 80s, who, you know, just never really was able to kind of develop into his game. He's just a massive human being.
I think Ralph Sampson fall like 10 feet on top of his head.
What's that?
Isn't that how Ralph Sampson's career ended? Like, he was just like balling, and then he got blocked at the rim, fell right on his head, got a super bad concussion, career over.
Yeah, well, so Ralph Sampson also, for what it's worth, had a lot of lower body injuries right off the bat. Like, it was lower body and head injuries was a combination. It was a
Beer's league.
But he was still a multi-time All-Star.
He made 4 All-Star teams in his career, I believe. Right. Never quite lived up to the pre-draft hype of what he could become. But like, we've seen so many big men that aren't even just like frail in the same way that a Wemby or a Chet is, that have injury issues as well. You know, I mean, one that did is Kristaps Porzingis, who had, you know, a lot of injuries in that way. Then we have bigger guys like Sam Bowie and like a ton of different guys throughout NBA history who just never have quite been able to stay healthy and really live up to their potential. But if Wemby does, I mean, once again, we're talking about an all-time top player here. I'm not entertaining any trades. I would literally not trade. I think the worst player in the NBA that, if you consider context, who's the worst player in the NBA that you're getting for in a Victor Wembanyama trade?
Like, the worst one I would accept coming back.
Yes. Or let's say their team would be willing to trade him.
Zion.
I would not take Zion if I were the Spurs.
I would take Zion in 2 fucking seconds. That's like the easiest pick of my life.
Second contract. It's such a different.
I don't care about any of the news updates with him recently. He is 300 pounds, jumps 45 inches in the air, and is like a post god. Greg Popovich would absolutely shit himself to have Zion.
Parm, he's played like 28 games a year.
And every single one of those games is like 37,
He's incredible.
14-7. Like
He
it's
just-
like
He
unfathomable.
can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but it's like not even like he can't stay healthy, but like you can't even say the injuries have made a dent in like his production. Like every time he's on the floor, he's fucking incredible.
So I do have an
I'd
answer.
trade Luka. I'd trade Luka. Like,
If you are Dallas, you know what's
Yes.
coming.
yes, yeah, I would trade Luka, and I think that's the inflection point.
Yeah.
I think I would not trade Shea is the big thing.
Yes, that's what I thought about. For
Right, but I would trade Luka in his current situation, not because I think Shea is inherently better, just because of the untenability of the Luka situation.
By the way, I think if the Thunder actually put 6 first-round picks that are all the Clippers and Houston picks on the table for him, they would at least have a meeting because of the injury concerns.
Mhm.
Like,
I don't think they would, dude.
Nope.
I
No,
don't.
he's like you have to have like
These
you have to
offers
like
would
be
have already
nuts.
been made if this were the case.
Right.
Oklahoma City, we would be getting reports about Oklahoma City throwing this shit on the table if they thought it was somewhat realistic.
Well, no,
This
because
is
that goes against Sam Presti's Ponzi scheme ideas. So obviously that's not happening. This is in an ethical world where I'm in charge. The Patriots are in charge of the Oklahoma City.
You're talking about 2024 NBA champion contenders, Oklahoma City Thunder, by the way.
Trill, here's my real question.
No. The Patriots are in charge. The QAnon will rise up and take control of the deep state controlled Oklahoma City Thunder. Watch this space.
To me, there are 2 names that I think are good indicators, and I want your opinion on both. The first is, would you trade Ant? Because I would not.
Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
If I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, I wouldn't. I wouldn't
have to have a destination for
Erase all other context.
I don't
Just
care
assume
about
that
Cat.
you can reroute Cat, or assume you can reroute Gobert, or hell, just assume that Gobert is going to suddenly turn into being.
I'm not letting Rudy Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns affect any decisions I'm making because I don't care about either of them.
I would.
If Victor Wembanyama's on the table.
If I could get Wembanyama and Gobert together, that would be a crazy duo. They're like really tight.
Oh,
That's like a real dub in terms of like keeping him happy when you're the Minnesota Timberwolves and no one wants to be there.
It's a red flag for Vic, honestly.
That's the thing is like, you know how we always talk about like teams and we always make fun of teams who are like resetting the contract cycle by trading out like D'Anthony Melton for like a first round pick or whatever. Mm-hmm. It would be funny if the Hornets and the Timberwolves were like, yeah, we can extend Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball, but let's just get ahead of it because we know where this is going, and let's hope that we can nail the Wemby thing. But, like, I don't know if I would trade Anthony Edwards just because he's still on his rookie deal.
Yep.
And we saw what he did against the team that's about to win the NBA Finals. Like,
right.
And I know that Ant's probably going to stay healthy.
And so here's the other player that I have on the other side of the same line is Paulo Banchero.
I'd trade Paulo, yeah.
Yeah, I think you trade Paulo.
I like Paulo a lot, but like he didn't do enough in his rookie year to make me think that he's untouchable for a prospect I view as a lot better.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be really good. I mean, I had him number 1 on my board last year. I'm trading any of the top picks from last year's draft for Victor.
I would ponder it at least. He was kind of fucking nuts.
He's awesome. Paulo's incredible. But if I really want to,
I despise that team.
But think about how hard it is to team build in some of these situations where, like, by the time these guys are good enough, they want to go somewhere else. Like, to win a championship. Like, Orlando's history has literally been Dwight Howard, Shaq, all those guys just leaving. Like, if you could get even Victor on his rookie deal as, like, one of the best players on a contender, like, your window might be a little longer.
You're saying they're never going to get another guy like Tracy McGrady to sign an inexplicable max contract in Orlando for no reason.
They're lucky that they were lucky that happened, and that probably won't happen unless the Supermax does change things a little bit. And if Paulo and Franz are good enough, and one of those guys can sign to the Supermax, that's a different conversation. But that's so many years away that like I would be tempted to do it. But that's just my take. Anyway, let's move on for the Victor Wembanyama stuff because this is not. This is already it's in the bag. Like we know that this is happening.
You know KD and AD and LeBron and Luka, John Wall and Zion and Anthony Edwards. But do you recall the greatest prospect of all, Wemby, the big, tall Frenchman. Okay, sorry.
All right,
We can go to the number 2 pick now.
Sam.
So the number 2 pick is Dread, who is making his first official appearance on the Ball main feed. So Dread, you will be selecting for the Charlotte Hornets. You have a big decision to make here.
I have a very easy decision to make here.
But hold on, before you make the pick,
Oh.
Are there any offers?
Who's
for this number 2 pick?
Hold on, let me check the source. Oh yeah, you can't even. Yeah, okay. So did you see? Y'all see the news that New Orleans is trying to get him?
Yeah. And actually, so Trill has placed me in a terrible situation because I also am drafting for the Pelicans. And
well, we didn't know this news when I did that. To be
I understand.
fair.
Well, so here's the thing. I actually think the Pelicans have an incredible trade offer to get up to the 3rd pick for who I think will be available at the 3rd pick. But that player is not going to be available at the 3rd pick because I'm
in this draft. Okay, but hold on. Before you make the pick then.
Okay.
Can we get a phone call from the Brooklyn Nets at least? Will you take a phone call from the Brooklyn Nets?
I will pick up the phone from the Brooklyn Nets.
All right, this is Sean Marks. Good day, mate.
Hi. Yep.
So
I'm whatever intern is left in the Charlotte Hornets office right now.
So I am going to offer recent superstar player Mikal Bridges, who everyone says, oh, maybe Portland could do this trade, but I want Scoot Henderson. So I'm willing to just give you Mikal Bridges for the 2nd overall pick. And then whatever Gordon Hayward's expiring contract.
So I am debating because I would not do this pick. Not because I don't love McCall. I think he's a great player. I just do not think that the infrastructure in Charlotte is set up right now for it. And it's more because I adore Scoot Henderson than anything else. But you can sweeten it.
What's a sweetener look like to you?
A lot.
The 21st pick in the draft, where you
that's,
can draft
that's a start.
21st pick in the draft. Cam Thomas, as D Bronx says in there.
No, I do not want Cam Thomas in this pick because of the salary I would have to send back.
Okay.
Oh, is it Benjamin time? Benjamello?
How about this? We will consider. Oh, you don't even own your own picks. You only own.
Only. Hold on. Only we have the Suns picks.
That's true.
We have the Sixers pick.
That's true.
We in 2027 we have the Mavericks pick in 2027 as well. We got a lot of teams that are going to be in some deep shit in a few years.
Yeah, you're right. How about up all of them?
Would you take Tobias Harris for the number 2 pick?
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pandering to Sixers fans. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
Hey, this is Daryl Morey. I'm at the casino right now playing poker.
No. And this is the offer I'll give you. We want
gambling with Mr.
all
Beast.
the picks you have access to.
Okay.
And we will take Ben Simmons on.
Okay, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
If you're taking Scoot Henderson, are you open to trading the other point guard you have?
Are you talking about Mr. One LaMelo Ball?
No, I was talking about Terry Rozier.
Oh, I am absolutely open to trading.
Parody Santa. I'm not Sam.
Dude, feed me Terry Rozier.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
will
say
do
this is
anything for
disrespectful.
Terry Rozier on the Sixers. You don't understand.
Yeah, we're sending Terry Rozier for the corpse of Furkan Korkmaz.
Terry Rozier is one of the only players who's been the best player on a conference final team. So I need
That's
everyone
available.
who's available at the deadline.
Yeah,
Feed
better
me
than
him and
Joel
Tice.
Embiid. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really worried that we're not going to be able to keep LaMelo. He keeps running these red lights. It feels like he doesn't want to be in Charlotte. He leaves Charlotte the moment the season is over.
well, we have a nice man named Mikal Bridges. We'll trade you Mikal Bridges straight up for LaMelo Ball.
So you wouldn't do Mikal? That's the issue, though.
We get our lead guard. You get a guy.
You gotta
that you
you
put
gotta
around
take
your
the
lead
you gotta
guard.
take the fucking stinky one too. If you're gonna try to pawn off LaMelo Ball for McCall Bridges, you gotta take the other one too.
Oh, we're not taking Ben Simmons back on that.
You gotta get the problematic guy in Brooklyn if you're gonna get a sweet deal like
Miles
that.
Bridges isn't even on a contract right now, so
Sign and trade.
So we don't have to worry about that.
We're not. I'm sorry.
We're not involving anyone who's
I will say at this moment we can talk about that closer to the season. But let's just say that I'll keep your number in my Rolodex.
All right. I guess there's no deal to be made here. So with the second overall pick,
Scoot Henderson, submit it, sign, sealed, deliver. For me, it's not a particularly hard pick overall. I love Scoot. I think that he is. I think by far. So I'm down on Brandon Miller. But I'm not like down on Brandon Miller. I think he's going to be a good player. I just don't think that his ceiling is quite what people are imagining.
That's interesting because he's saving the Portland Trailblazers with the number 3 pick, and I will not be entertaining trade offers.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. You can't. Literally, there isn't a player. You can try to get Dame from me. You're not getting this fucking pick. It's Brandon Miller or bust.
Okay. I will say I think Charlotte is drafting Brandon Miller on draft night. I will say you can draft for fit when you're a good team. When you're a bad team, draft the best prospect. And for me,
it's purely the fact that Portland has, in my lifetime, had one wing in 26 fucking years. They had one wing. It was Brandon Roy, and he's the most tragic man in the history of the NBA. That's their only fucking wing.
That's Al-Farouq Amino erasure. So.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the one wing away. They were one wing away every single time with Dame and CJ. It was like, if you guys got this team one wing, you could be real. This is your opportunity to get one wing and be
he is
real.
Certainly a one real wing.
I'm going to say this before we move on to you got
to get rid of Nurk because he's
have your Brandon Miller in a minute. But I will say this for Henderson. Scoot for me is just like he's such a clear high ceiling guy. He's a high motor guard with a lot of really great skills that has already shown the ability to go both vertically and horizontally when it comes to scoring attack. Yeah. I think his ability translates. I think the comparison of him being like mini Russ is really fair. And you take mini Russ at the second overall pick every time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also there are 2 prospects I think that remind me of Russ in this draft, and we'll get to the other one later. Mm-hmm. But it is funny that I feel like with the Scoot thing, I'm definitely with you. I think Brandon Miller's a totally fine third overall pick. If I had the second pick, I would take Scoot.
Yep.
Because I believe that he has the offensive initiator upside. But if you're not going to get the 2 guys in this draft that seem like the closest to legit offensive initiators in Wemby, and these are our picks, Killicam.
Right, yeah.
This has nothing to do with reality. Reality at this pick is that Brandon Miller's going number 2 based on everything we've heard. But we also, at this time last year, thought Jabari Smith was going number 1. So that's kind of what, but in reality, yes, Brandon Miller will go number 2.
Mm-hmm. Look, go ahead.
I would just say I'm taking the offensive initiator swing at 2.
Right.
Those 2 guys, I think Brandon Miller has a very easy path to being a very good second or third guy on a good team now.
I've made a lot of Hasheem Thabeet jokes in the last week. As a UConn fan, Hasheem Thabeet is near and dear to my heart. But I don't think Brandon Miller's Hasheem Thabeet. I don't think we're going to be looking back at this and being like, oh, God, I can't believe he went to. He's going to be fine. Outside of all the issues with the fact that he is allegedly an accessory to some very unsavory things.
But also, like, I guess I look at it like every other time that we've gone insane when the third guy gets drafted and it's like Luka, LaMelo, like those guys, no offense to Parm, but the prospects that were drafted with the second pick ahead of those guys, Bagley, Wiseman, whatever, Miller's a better prospect than these guys as it stands today. He was...
I mean, we're overlooking the key Brandon Miller kiss of death here. That KOC loves him. Boom. I'm sorry. That's the end of discussion.
Yeah. Bobby Clintman flow.
By the way, he signed overseas like 5 minutes ago.
Bobby Clintman?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, not overseas. The NBL Next Stars program. Carnes Taipans. I think that's Australia.
That's a strong league. That is one of those terrible leagues I watch.
Yeah,
that's kind of a good league.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna lie, they play really fast over there.
The reason I knew that LaMelo was going to be pretty good was because he was playing really well against full-grown adults in a pretty good, fast-paced league.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I'll say on Scoop, by the way, before we fully move on, and I try to convince Parm to take a trade that he won't take, is that I think it is perfectly possible that Brandon Miller has a much safer floor. And I think if you're drafting for floor, like if you're the Portland Trailblazers, I think that's perfectly reasonable, understandable. I think that Scoot, it would have gone one over Paulo last year. And
Okay, sorry.
Somebody have a motorcycle going?
I was going to say, it sounds like there's fucking ATVs outside.
Yeah, they're actually, it's the Patriots that Sam Russell.
Say, those are the Patriots. They're not letting us bad. Yeah.
I just I would, for full disclosure, I would probably take the opportunity to have Scoot and LaMelo over Brandon Miller at 2 also. I just don't think I think it's like pretty can't miss when you're a team that has the opportunity to get the best wing in the wing draft TM.
Yeah. That's like the last piece that the Blazers need. And the thing about drafting Brandon Miller at 3 for them would be you kind of get best of both worlds where like Miller's probably going to be like a Keegan Murray where he can play right away. And he's a little bit older. He's not quite Keegan's age, but like he's a little bit older. He'll probably be plug and play. And then you also have the fact that like you still have your young guys along with him. Like you can keep Simons and Sharp in this situation, whatever. So I definitely think I would see it for Portland. I don't see it for Charlotte.
Another major factor for me is that I am actually able to watch Brandon Miller play real basketball games with real stakes against real opponents in a real league, and I don't have the access to any of the private workouts or any of the tape that like the Thompson twins have. So I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what their top 5 picks. I have no idea what they're supposed to be because they don't play real games. So from a fan's perspective, like how are you supposed to adequately gauge it, like other than just trusting that the front offices are doing their jobs?
That the 18-year-olds in Overtime Elite are nails. Those guys are actually.
Yeah. No, I'm very familiar with a lot of them through their Snapchat videos that I watch while I'm taking a shit in the morning. I watch like Jazera Jackson like absolutely demolish like Rafe LaFrance in a gym in Fresno.
So I guess the real question is, do the Thompson twins have a problematic age gap with the rest of their league?
They have a problematic age gap with each other because, as we've learned, when your ages are too close together, that's the Lannisters. It's the Lannister theory. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I assume we're moving on to the third pick now.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So we have the third pick. We have that locked in. Parm said he's going to keep Brandon Miller. He's not going to.
I know Parm said he doesn't want to take. Yeah, I was going to say. Let me at least make my case. Here, okay. You go first, Dread, and I will make mine after.
So by the way, first of all, I apologize to longtime Twitter mutual, wonderful friend or wonderful person, Richard Normal, for what I'm about to do. The Pelicans are calling you.
Okay.
And the Pelicans see that you as Portland want a competent player, a player who might fit well next to Dame, a player like Brandon Ingram.
Ooh.
And I apologize to Richard Normal for this. And first of all, I think they should do this trade for Scoot Henderson, not for Brandon Miller. However, in this scenario, I'm still calling because I don't know what this timeline's looking like. I have to figure out some contract stuff. I'm a little worried about how CJ McCollum, class trader extraordinaire, is going to be doing the rest of his contract. And I want this magical Portland trade that's been floating around for the Jaylen Browns of the world, the Pascal Siakams. I'm going to send you Brandon Ingram for the third pick, Anthony Simons, and the Knicks pick.
Third pick, Anthony Simons, and a Knicks pick is crazy.
For Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts, no?
I mean, Brandon Ingram is better than Mikal Bridges and Jaylen Brown, and that's what the offer is right now.
Right, and to be fair, you can say no to this, and we can.
I probably would, just because, this is another interesting one though, because I also have no idea like I was saying this the last time I was on. I don't know what the NBA is going to do with all these guards like Anthony Simons in like 4 years. Because it feels like there's 150 guys who are getting like $30 million a year, and they're crazy good, but like every team has one.
The Sixers are looking down that barrel right now.
They almost definitely should give all that money to Maxey, in my opinion.
Right.
But what are you supposed to do when every team has like a guy like that?
Shout out to him, Bontemps, by the way, who had this comp about 6 months ago, where he said the combo guards who aren't like high-level playmakers but are really good, efficient scorers and have defensive question marks are kind of going to become like what the offensive first big men in a few years. Where like he said, like John Collins, Sabonis, like guys that have roles on good teams and can get you to a point. But when their defensive issues pop up at the biggest moments, their shooting issues pop up at the biggest moments, and it's going to be like with all of the guys that we're talking about, like there might be a one or two that separates themselves from the crew, but like how do you know which player that is going to be? And like,
so, as the Pelicans, I'm looking at the stats that Anthony Simons was putting up as the lead ball handler when Dame was off the court, and I'm saying, this is the time for me to pounce. I'm worried. My worry is that relying on both Brandon Ingram and Zion is bad for the two of them because they have a little bit of a strange fit and they both tend to get injured if you over-rely on one versus the other. I want a ball-dominant shooter that has a lot of opportunities, that has the ability to be playing at multiple levels, and I want that third pick. And I'm gonna keep Zion. I'm gonna build around the back shots extraordinaire, and we're going to make it work.
Yeah, pause.
Is Brandon Ingram the final, though?
The final offer?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk, but like...
what is happening here?
That's going real
Brandon
thin.
Ingram is really good.
He's really good.
He is really good. He is really good. You're giving up a top 3 pick in the draft and a solid combo guard.
We're not giving up 14.
And another pick.
We're keeping 14. You're getting Ingram. You're getting a certified star. Fits really well with
Brandon Miller. This is literally the mystery box thing. Maybe Brandon Miller could be Brandon Ingram one day.
Exactly.
Throw in Dyson Daniels. You got a deal.
Oh boy,
Dyson Daniels.
Throw in Dyson Daniels.
Or
Herb Jones is a deal.
No.
Give me another wing.
That's too. I can't get both wings. I need to field a competent NBA team. Why don't you field Sam's offer while I look at what other pieces I can throw at you?
Well, the Celtics don't have a pick, so we did not have them. But if you would like to be the honorary Celtics GM and make any sort of offer here, it's up to you.
No. I'm not. I'm not that coward, Brad Stevens. I am the man wielding God's light in winger, and his trusted lieutenant Travis Schlenk and the Washington Wizards. We are going to have to appeal to whoever's in charge of the Mavericks because this is a 3-team trade. So in this trade, the other thing about this trade is there is a little bit of a wink-wink deal going on here because it involves a player opting in. However, the Portland Trailblazers, you will receive for the number 3 pick and Yusuf Nurkic. And also some filler.
And I get to get rid of Nurk.
Yeah, and you get rid of Nurk.
That's the piece that he's missing.
Yeah, and you're also Kevin Knox and Keon Johnson are going to the Mavericks. But you receive Kristaps Porzingis, who has a handshake deal here to get like a 3-year extension, and you get pick number 8 and pick number 10.
Wait, what?
You get 8 and 10 and Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, okay, I see.
3
yeah,
and
done. Sold.
Let's go.
Are you kidding me?
Wait.
What is happening here? You didn't explain the whole trade.
So the Mavericks. Well, we need the Mavericks to agree. So
what are the Mavericks doing?
So you are sending JaVale McGee, Davis Bertans, and Tim Hardaway to the Wizards. You are receiving DeLon Wright and Kevin Knox and Keon
for the 10th pick.
No, I am as the Mavericks. I am hanging up.
Dread, absolutely not.
No,
that is a horrible trade for the Mavericks.
26. What are you talking about? That's $26 million gone.
I'm drafting.
Hold on. Wait. What if I sweeten the pot What if I give you prime Jonathan Williams? Prime Jonathan Williams. Maybe if you're nice to me, I'll throw in John Butler.
Hold on. Dread is the Mavericks GM, so it all depends on what he wants to do.
Allow me to here. I'm putting down my Pelicans phone. Hello, this is the Mavericks. I'm blocking both of your numbers.
What? The Mavericks don't have a road to cap space if Kyrie resigns, and Kyrie is resigning.
I cannot take on those contracts. I cannot take on these contracts.
They need Jonathan.
There's no contracts coming back.
But the contracts doesn't matter. Why are they salary dumping with the 10th pick if they can't get a road to cap space? They're literally just giving away players for nothing.
Why are you so sure they aren't getting a road to cap space here?
Because
am I letting Kyrie walk in this scenario?
I was going to say, if you let Kyrie walk, where is Kyrie going? We need to know where Kyrie's going. The Lakers?
I don't know. But this is I think that this will be more on the table than you would. There's going to be a huge premium to dump money. There's no teams that are going to be doing this.
See, I will agree with that
question.
It's just I think, and I will say this: I I have my Mavericks phone in my hand for my prop for everyone to see this. Yeah. I don't think that the Mavs are in a dump money moment right now because I still think they are deluded into thinking they can keep Luka.
Okay. Fair enough. I will just say you're also making enormous trade exceptions in this deal.
Trade exceptions are dead. Trade exceptions are dead under the new CBA.
For not next year, though, I believe.
Wait, what do you mean? They're getting rid of trade exceptions?
No, they're not actually getting rid of them. It's just now if you trade into a trade exception and you're above the first salary cap line, it hard caps you. You no longer get that exemption from hard cap for using TPE space. Also, starting after this next season, the window of how much money you can take on shrinks from 110% to 100%. So trades get very bad very fast.
All right. Well, as we live in this reality, why don't Sam and Parm try to work out a trade one-to-one without involving the Mavericks?
I am picking back up the phone as the Pelicans, and I'm offering. I have a little bit of a different situation if they'd like.
Okay.
So again, it is still Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
It's Anthony Simons and Nasir Little.
Okay.
And I am sending you Najee Marshall. In addition, pretty
telling me
what? Well, no. Here's the big one. But you're going to have to send some stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
And Trey Murphy.
I mean, I think Brandon Miller's going to be Trey Murphy. That's
done. That's easy. That's easy.
We need more stuff back now. That's the problem.
Yeah, what do you want? It's the fucking Trailblazers, dude. Take whoever you want.
You want Damian Lillard?
Who do you want? Really, name a guy. You want Justice Winslow? You got it, boss. That's easy. Can be done.
You can't come up with these crazy trades and then not. If we're agreeing to trades, you have to let me know so I can put it on.
Right.
Yeah, pop it in.
Real quick. So right now the structure is Trey Murphy, Najee Marshall, Brandon Ingram for Anthony Simons and Nasir Little.
Okay,
so
hold on.
You are taking on a little bit of money, but you know what? Just to make things work, I'll take Justice Winslow back.
Dread, this has got to be the worst trade I've ever heard in my life. Why would the Pelicans ever do this?
I'm not done. And we want all of your picks.
What do you mean all of them?
We want your non-swap picks.
I'll give you 2 seconds.
No. Absolutely not.
No shot. This team stinks, man. This is the worst team in the league.
That's what I'm counting on.
Yeah, no. I think we're just gonna stay pat. Take Brandon Miller.
I am the
lethal shooter.
I'm trying to convince.
All right, I'm giving everyone 30 seconds to figure out whether Brandon Miller is going to the Portland Trailblazers.
He is going to the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay.
I was really hoping that I could convince them that the Jeremy Grant, Brandon Ingram, Dame trio was going to be great.
That would go crazy.
You just gave up Trey Murphy in addition to that.
Wait. And I would get all of their firsts, was the hope. I wanted every single non-protected first.
It's still a bad trade.
It's fair. I am not as high on Trey Murphy.
It might be a good trade if you just believe Mike Schmitz has soup coming out of his ears when he wakes up in the morning. It's all just right. Just sloshing around up there.
Let me make my final pitch then. Okay. So this is I've adjusted the trade on the fly. Okay. Now the Mavericks are just sending Davis Bertans, no pick. Davis Bertans and Jaden Hardy goes to the Blazers. So instead of the 10th pick, they're getting Jaden Hardy and the number 8 pick and Kristaps Porzingis for the 3 pick and Yusuf Nurkic. The Mavericks are sending out Jaden Hardy and Davis Bertans, and they're getting back Kevin Knox and Keon Johnson.
Yeah, I do that.
Can I still get 9?
You get 8.
Or
What? I
8?
feel like
That's the Wizard. Oh, you're the Wizards. Oh, okay.
Sam, can you share this trade on the screen because it's incredibly confusing when you read it off? Are you able to do that?
Screen share, add.
I know.
Yes, I think I can.
Okay, I'm adding this. No, it is. It's such a bad trade. It won't let me. It will only Sam Sheehan can stream their screen. So I have to remove this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, Sam, you add this trade because I need to see it spelled out and I need to explain it to people on audio. Are going to be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
What's
All
happening?
right, Sam, you can share your screen. So now go to the screen share feature in the corner.
Okay.
While
Share
we're
your
going-
screen.
Teaching
You've
the
done this
seniors
before.
how to use Microsoft Excel.
While we're doing this, I just want to make it
Okay.
clear to the audience
So-
that Trey Murphy should not get traded for that. That was a bad trade.
All right. The trade wasn't agreed to, so it doesn't matter. I'm reading this out and no one can interrupt me. This is for the audio listeners. The Wizards get Davis Bertans and Yusuf Nurkic and the 3rd overall pick. The Trailblazers get Porzingis, who would have to opt into his deal in order to do this. Jaden Hardy and the 8th pick. So wait. Okay, so the Trailblazers move back 5 spots. And the Mavericks get Kevin Knox and Keon Johnson. Okay, so they're just involved for salary purposes.
Yes, and they're essentially dumping Davis Bertans for Jaden Hardy.
Okay.
Why would I do this? Because I am dumping Davis Bertans in this case, and I am moving off salary, and I don't have to give up anything.
You might be able to get a mid-level exception.
Exactly. I think with that,
and you can keep the 10th pick. So Parm, you agree to this because you love
that's
Porzingis
the
that much.
easiest trade of my life.
You drive me insane. All right. You literally just said you wouldn't trade Brandon Miller for like Brandon Ingram, and now you're trading him for Kristaps
because you don't get
Porzingis?
another pick. You're getting the Porzingod, Jaden Hardy, and I get Grady Dick probably. That's fucking absurd.
All right, let's do it. Let's go. Now I have to fucking do all the details on here. This is so fucking funny, dude.
This rocks.
Okay, I think I.
You're not changing the trade.
No. I'm trying to decide if I'm taking Brandon Miller. Is what I'm doing.
Let's go. Oh my god. All right. Well, now I have to fucking spell this out. All right. I guess I'm just not going to spell it. So Sam, you now have the pick.
Mm-hmm. I will take Brandon Miller.
All right. Wizards trade.
So it's really funny that somehow we have cooked up 2 of the worst trades imaginable, but for different reasons. like very clearly, the trade that I offered to the Blazers was too good for the Blazers, and they didn't take it. And this trade is abysmal for the Blazers, and they took it. Which means
this is elite for the Blazers. You get rid of Nurk and you get a real good center.
That's pretty good, and you get an actually good center.
So you get off the Nurkic contract. You still have the 8th pick in this draft, which Parm will now be selecting at and he gets Porzingis. So that's his win now guy. He gets a prospect in Jaden Hardy, who I think Hardy's kind of a. I actually.
He's the worst thing I'm giving up in this trade. Or not the worst thing. He's the most painful thing to give up out of this trade for the Mavericks.
This trade makes some sense. It's certainly better than whatever that war crime that we were talking about 5 seconds ago.
Yes. Not gonna lie. Also, when you first said this to me and I accepted, I thought we were also getting Davis Bertans, and I was like, that would be kind of nasty. 2 Latvians in the front court. Just like going to fucking work, 2 Latvian 3-point threats.
Just real quick for the chat to explain this from the Mavs perspective. I just did the math. This gets them almost the entire MLE.
Okay.
And it's
so you give up Jaden Hardy to get the MLE, essentially.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the goal is you're going in on 1 more year to get an MLE. You draft somebody with the 10th pick. Sounds like Grady Dick's going to be gone, but you draft a win now player. And the Mavs are obligated to have a Latvian on their roster, though. Yeah, I'll have to go find a Latvian in the 2nd round.
Yep.
And then you
You can get Darius Bertans.
yeah, right. I'll go get a different Bertans.
This is just such a funny fucking trade. Oh my god. All right. So now, Sam, you're on the clock as the Wizards GM, and you are selecting Brandon Miller.
I'm going to select Brandon Miller. I'm not happy about it, but
Scoot's gone, so you're taking Brandon Miller.
Ideally, I'm making this trade for Scoot, but this is the way the board broke. I'll take Brandon Miller. Am I good to stop sharing, by the way?
Yeah, you're good to stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Okay, so now, Sam, you will actually have back-to-back picks because you are selecting for the Houston Rockets as well. So,
okay, so Toronto Raptors. Hello.
I was thinking who is going to be I have the Raptors pick.
Okay.
So
listen to me carefully, Masai. I know that you are bemused. You're chuckling at how perplexed you have the league.
Yes.
They're dancing in the palm of your hand. You are the puppet master. How about you send me OG Anunoby and the 13th pick. I send you Kevin Porter Jr. and the number 4 pick.
You're smoking.
This is Masai Ujiri here. I would be interested in this trade if I could also get Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, every single Nets pick, and Ty Washington,
all the Nets first.
Yeah. I want you to sign James Harden in free agency and then trade him to us immediately. So how does that sound for you? Now, if I'm so the proposed deal once again was Kevin Porter Jr. and the 4th pick for OG Anunoby and the 13th pick to be exact, right?
Yes.
You know what? I'm not Masai Ujiri, so I'm going to consider this deal.
If I was Canadian and I heard that, I'd squeal.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes straight, I'd squeal.
Why?
Because I'm not smoking weed. That's Kevin Porter Jr. in the 4th pick for like a wing who's like gonna get moved anyway because you guys are both buns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Fred VanVleet might move.
Also, like you're like that's a pretty sizable jump.
It is. No,
and
it is.
and you are Masai Ujiri and you have your pick of experimental sicko wing.
So that's the question that I have is who are the Raptors jumping up for?
Well, I can't reveal that information just yet.
So
because I'm thinking as Masai Ujiri, even though he would never do a trade like this, I'm going to be honest. I think he would say I'm only doing this if I can keep the 13th pick.
Yes, that's what
he would say. But I'm not him, and I don't really care about anyone once we get to 13, to be totally honest. I like some guys in that range, but not quite as much as if I'm jumping up to 4.
But Masai is salivating over the opportunity to draft Taylor Hendricks, who is 6'9", with a 6'11".
Exactly. So or someone like that.
Also, they've quite obviously promised Bilal, so this won't happen. But
sure.
But
it's either them or the Thunder.
So let me make. I'm being a little realistic with this because I'm assuming that Raphael Stone is under a mandate to win.
Yeah.
And my other bit of reasoning here is I am not a Thompson Twins guy, and because of that, I do not think that there is. I think the draft drops off right here, down a tier, and I think there's going to be really good players available at 13 that I don't see as being meaningfully that different from guys available at number 4.
Okay.
I agree with you.
So here's the thing: if you throw in one Ty Washington, we have a deal. Ty Washington is someone who's not going to be in your rotation once you sign either Fred VanVleet, who's coming from us, James Harden. He will not be.
Sure.
He will not be someone that you value as highly. And I know that I'm also getting Kevin Porter Jr. in this deal, but if Ty's not in, I'm walking away.
Wait, before you say yes, Sam, have you considered that one of the people on the Raptors that Fred VanVleet despises might be OG Anunoby?
Oh, I haven't, but I'm also assuming James Harden is coming. So
James Harden, Jalen Green, and then you're making this deal fall through because you don't want to include Ty Washington.
No, I am. I'm saying
Okay.
this. Yeah. I don't know. I feel bad because I actually don't. I'm not familiar with Ty Washington.
He's
so
good.
I'm being.
He's good.
Yeah. I might
he's
be
a third.
being plundered.
You
He's
should
a
have
third
tried
guard.
it. You should have tried to position it so you could get off Dacian Knicks. But Ty
Yeah,
will
Jason,
do.
they can just cut
You
Jason.
can just cut him at any point. He's
He
not
sucks.
guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay. So I am choosing to accept this trade. Kevin Porter Jr., Ty Washington, and the 4th pick for OG Anunoby and the 13th pick.
Underrated fact about Kevin Porter Jr.'s contract is he's signed a football player's contract and has 0 guaranteed years.
Exactly.
That's unfathomable, really.
Yep.
Yes.
He has 0. He has an NFL contract, dude.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the Toronto Raptors will be trading this pick for the 4th pick. Unfortunately, I can't include players on here, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Toronto Raptors are on the clock, and I'll be honest, if this trade were to happen on draft night, I'm gonna be honest. I think there's no way Masai does it for sure, but I'm not Masai, so whatever. If Masai's moving up to 4, he's selecting Jarris Walker.
Yeah, I think that's the correct. I think that's the person he's moving up for. Yes.
I think that's the case. I'm not Masai. I'm taking the ultimate Grand Slam swing, and I am drafting Amen Thompson with the 4th overall pick. I believe that if I have him and Jarris pretty close on my board, I have Amen 4 and I have Jarris 6 right now. I have question marks about both of them, but if I want a real initiator, which they have not had in so long, someone who has the upside to run an offense, who could be, like I said, there are 2 players in this draft that remind me of Russell Westbrook. Amen Thompson could possibly be the other one. When we talk about athleticism, he has like the peak athleticism in this draft. Like one of the greatest athletes in the NBA pretty instantly. Insane first step. I think he has crazy upside. He might be a bust, whatever. I mean, I'm taking upside swings here. I think that right now the way that I want to build is with young talent. I just got Ty Washington, a nice guard I like. I just got Kevin Porter Jr., who's a totally fine rotation guard. I'm trying to build around Scotty Barnes, and if he can ever figure out the shot, you're talking about a multiple-time All-NBA player here. And that's all I really care about. OG Anunoby's nice, but he's not going to be making all NBA teams. So
I'll say this: I've compared Amen Thompson multiple times to non-brain broken Ben Simmons.
Yes,
and I would draft non-brain broken Ben Simmons pretty high.
Yeah,
it's a good player. Also, this is anecdotal or hearsay, so take it with a grain of salt. But one of my bar buddies is a AAU photographer, and he knows both the Thompson twins pretty well. And apparently, they're very high. They're very quiet. They're not the same kind of like intensity off the court kind of guys, but they're very hard workers.
Everyone says amazing things about them, and I think that if they don't turn into the players that they can become, it's only because of some limitations that they might have. Once again, I'm taking the risk. I'm not drafting with the 4th pick to get someone who, might be a nice role play. Like I think I would take Brandon Miller over him because I think that the floor is a little bit higher and he still has a decent ceiling. But if I'm going for the Grand Slam swing, I'm taking Amen Thompson. So the Toronto Raptors have received Amen Thompson with the 4th pick. And I have another pick right back to back. I also have the Pistons on the clock here.
Don't you dare take your guy, because I got to take your guy.
Okay, so first off, I joked earlier, if anyone wants to offer trades, that's fine. The Pistons are open to moving this pick. They're open to trading back. They're open to getting veteran players. I personally would probably just rather keep the pick and make the pick, because I think that if you're the Pistons, you're betting on the 2 guys that you have right now, in Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, that you've taken at the top of the last 2 drafts. And whoever you're drafting here needs to be able to kind of fit with them. James Wiseman is available. Marvin Bagley is available. And if you want any of those guys, Parm, I'm looking at you. Are any of your teams interested in a Bagley or a Wiseman?
Yeah, what does that take for the Washington basketball Wizards? to get Marvin Bagley. Can I get him for like a protected second?
Jesus Christ. You're a
what
sicko.
contracts
You're
are
a
we
sick
matching
man.
here?
Just like after this trade, like we got two like kind of like washed centers
Well,
added
what's
to
the
the
contract
roster. I
matching?
might as well
Yeah.
like be like, ooh, we'll get a little Marvin the Gaff man, little like spicy front court. We have like a spicy unit and then like a crusty washed unit.
You're not answering my question. You got to tell me what's the contract matching here. Are you letting Kyle Kuzma and who'd you just trade for in the Porzingis deal? Who did Sam just acquire?
I got Nurkic. Yeah, I got Bertans and Nurk.
Bertans is back on the Wizards. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah. He's coming home.
Yeah, I'm bringing him home.
How did I miss
Gave him
that?
that contract in the first place.
Yo,
We are so addicted to slop defeat. The Patriots are back, man.
what the fuck is happening?
Don't
Are
worry.
you Parm? Are you recording like next?
That's on my side actually. Again,
Yeah.
Sam, where
the
do you
Patriots-
live?
Where the Patriots live, man.
Yeah.
They're back in control.
This is insane, dude. This is absolutely insane.
No, but like outside of that, like I kind of agree
All
with
right,
you.
well,
I wouldn't
look,
make a trade if I was the Pistons.
I'm open to trading, but I'm keeping the 5th pick.
Yeah.
And I'm selecting the 5th pick. That has nothing to do with Marvin Bagley at this time. So I'm looking at some prospects here. I like some guys. Asar Thompson on the board. Cam Whitmore. Whitmore is apparently the projected guy that is going to go with this pick.
Yeah.
I'm
I
definitely
think it's
interested
somebody
in
else,
a
by the
few
way.
guys here. What's that?
I think it's somebody else who goes there, by the way. I have a personal belief about who goes at 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm not to popular belief, even though I love Cason Wallace and he is 5th on my board currently. I won't be taking him just because. Look, if Caden Ivey sucked, then we're fucked. So I got to go in a direction where I'm trying to make it really work with them, and I'm going to be selecting one Jarris Walker with this pick.
That is who
Okay,
I think goes
yeah,
at
okay.
5, by the way.
I know Troy Weaver has an obsession with big men. I think Jarris has some interesting upside. He can be a 4 or 5. I think defensively he's going to be a beast. The one thing is you're projecting here because there are certainly limitations to his offensive game without the shot.
Yep.
But I once again, I'm taking upside swings. I'm not drafting for role players in the top 5 of the draft. I don't believe in that philosophy. If it misses, it misses. I don't care if any of these guys are busts. But if Jarris Walker can ever figure out a semblance of a shot, you're talking about a guy who has all-star potential, in my opinion. He's one of the last guys on the board that has that all-star potential at the top of the draft. So I'm going with Jarris Walker. So Jarris Walker, welcome to the Detroit Pistons. So we'll be moving on to pick number 6.
So I'm pick number 6 for the Orlando Magic. I do not have the other Orlando Magic pick, so I will have to convey with my other drafting associate if we make any trades. But I have 3 guys on here who I would not draft Cam Whitmore I like Cam Whitmore. I have some amount of enjoyment of Cam Whitmore, but it's not who I would take. I also want to make it clear, I'm just going to talk about a couple of guys I'm not taking. I wouldn't take Taylor Hendricks here either because of how ball dominant he is. I think he's going to be a good player. It's just he needs the ball in his hands, and I really don't want a player who's going to take the ball out of not ball dominant in a traditional sense. He's just he does a lot of his best work on pull up shooting, and I think that in the NBA his cutting is going to be not quite as effective as it appears right now, and I don't want to split time carrying the ball between my other sort of superstars. So there are really 2 players here that I'm looking at, but I'm also very comfortable trading this pick for a win now player, if anyone's calling. Okay,
so Parm, if you have the 11th pick as the Magic, so you would have to agree if it's 6 and 11 for someone. I'm not looking as the Jazz. I'm just waiting at the 9th pick right now.
So this is so tough because the Magic have so many players. They are due to consolidate. They have so many young players. That being said, I mean, I'm looking at All-Star Thompson. I'm looking at Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, and Cole Anthony, and I'm like, well, there you go. There's your guard. There's your guard. That him, Franz, Paolo is like a crazy trio, and he's right there. And you can just, or Anthony Black, like you pick your pick, and like that's so easy.
Anthony Black is probably who I would be taking here, because Anthony Black is also very high on my board relative to a lot of other people.
Yep.
He's a connective piece. He's really, really, really effective at what he's good at. He has a lot of missing pieces from his game, but the thing is, he doesn't need to lean into those at all on that Magic team.
Yep.
And you kind of just move on from Suggs to a certain degree, or you don't really have to move on. You might actually just. His touch is not amazing, but I don't
think that Black's. Here's the thing with touch. Here's the thing with Black that I am worried about how he projects as a scorer, but his floater game is really good.
Right.
And if his floater game is good, that indicates he has a little bit of touch at the very least.
Exactly. And this is what I would say. I think part of the reason why Black looked so out of place a little bit on that team is because he was asked to carry too much of a scoring load. What I would like to compare him to, this is a comparison a lot of people have made, so it's not my original thing, but last year of the Pelicans era, Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I think we talked about this. We had this conversation. I'm interested in that. I'm certainly interested in that, but Vagberg does bring up a good point about the thing that I am worried about with Anthony Black is how good does the shooting have to get? Because, like, Lonzo, I know I say outlier a ton, but Lonzo's touch, for as bad of a free throw shooter as he was insane, the jump that he made as a shooter in his last year with the Pelicans, and with whoever drafts Anthony Black needs to invest in that, is what I'm trying to say here. Because I don't really see him having a ton of paths to being like a high leverage scorer. Connective piece, sure. Defender, sure. I am a little bit concerned unless he becomes a really good shooter, which I don't know if he can become a really good shooter. I think he could become a solid shooter. I am a little bit worried about that, but if you want to go with Anthony Black here, we can lock that in.
I will say I had one other contending player here, or two others technically. I do want to shout out a Keontae George, who I actually have very hh now. I've described him
Parm's
again.
Boy.
Yeah, if you had trapped an instinctive hooper in a cult of calculator rats, but I do think Osar Thompson is also a reasonable pick here. He already has fit a lot of the things. He can play next to a more ball dominant player. I think he has a lot of defensive upside that is just like already showing a lot of promise. I think either one of those is an acceptable pick. I'm going to go with a guy who's higher on my board and take Anthony Black.
Okay.
But
we're locking in Anthony Black as the 6th pick for the Orlando Magic. Yeah. All right.
I think Osar would have been a perfectly good pick there.
Okay. So now we have Parm, the Pacers.
Oh, this is the hardest pick of my life.
I think it's pretty obvious who the Pacers are going to pick if they're still on the board.
So I agree, but at the same time, they're the Indiana Pacers. And the Pacers don't love... when have the Pacers been the hype beast team? They're taking the hype beast pick. They don't do that. They grow corn there.
That's true.
You know what I mean? They're watching the Indy 500, and that's why this pick, I hate to say it, I hate to do it, it's got to be Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah,
it's going to be Taylor Hendricks.
He's such
it's got to be Taylor Hendricks. That would be so nuts. Yeah. That team is already so good at 3-point shooting, and you have a 3-point shooting power forward, a 3-point shooting center. You have Mathurin and Halliburton in the backcourt. That's just a crazy basketball team.
You can also credibly initiate offense from 4 different positions.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly great thing for that team.
And
now,
more importantly, I personally think Hendricks is going to project a little bit more as a play finisher. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you're taking... They want defense to insulate Mathurin and Halliburton because of some of their defensive issues. Mm-hmm. And then they already have Turner on the back line. I think if the board broke a little bit differently for them. I would have taken Jarris Walker if he were still available for them, because I think that fit might be a little like I think it's the best fit for Jarris Walker, to be perfectly honest. I think that the interesting thing about Taylor Hendricks here is, like you said, you're gonna have guys that can shoot all around, and I think defensively, you're hoping that Hendricks can kind of clean up for some of the mistakes. I think they're going to take whichever. They've just wanted a power forward for like a year or two now, and they're going to get him here.
He's also just really, really good at not fouling on his defense, especially on his help defense. Yeah. And that's something that you cannot overestimate in terms of its ability to be effective for a team like the Pacers.
Yep. All right, so we're going Taylor Hendricks with the 7th pick.
And then I'm also patting myself in the back because I'm the greatest GM of all time.
Let's go.
Somehow I got Kristaps Porzingis, Jaden Hardy, and Oscar Thompson.
Let's go!
I'm shitting myself. Like, this is out of fucking control.
Wait, Oscar Thompson has not gone?
No, Oscar Thompson is who I'm picking with.
Right now.
That's a crazy. I was thinking about taking him with that pick.
With the Washington Wizards on the board currently.
Oh, no, now it's the Blazers.
I'm sorry, the Blazers.
Because that's the thing. And I was thinking All-Star at 3, and I'm getting him at 8, and Kristaps Porzingis and Jaden Hardy. That's crazy.
All right. So
that's a crazy play.
All-Star Thompson will be going to the Blazers.
And Dame will finish his trade request paperwork.
I'm hearing the better of the Thompson twins as well. We're on the street.
And also, more importantly to me, the Blazers get another athletic project, which they love.
They love athletic.
All-Star, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, like literally every fucking player that they pick. So Dame has put in his trade request, and Parm gets his way.
Parm is doing the "this is how I win" from Uncut Gems as we speak.
He wants Dame gone. Are we doing we could end up with a Dame trade by the end of the night, by the way. Just throwing this out here. All right, so I am on the board here as the Utah Jazz, who probably the only team in this draft that can kind of go any direction that they want. They don't have a mandate to win now. They can take upside project-y guy. I'm going to take my guy. I knew that he was going to fall here.
It's unfortunate because I was really hoping he would make it to 10.
I'm selecting Cason Wallace.
People of Salt Lake City are watching you pass over Grady Dick and sobbing.
This is the worst thing. This is their 9/11.
I like Grady Dick.
Where did Grady Dick go?
Love Dick. Kansas.
Yeah.
No. Where did he go from the board? I'm only seeing.
No, he's at the top now. Yeah, he's above. He's above Hojivino.
Cam Whitmore is actually still on the board.
Falling.
We somehow saw 2 players that I do not have in my first round in that screenshot there.
You sounded very concerned there, Parm, with he's Cam Whitmore has fallen, folks. Honestly, we're now looking at Dread with the Mavericks pick, right? You didn't trade the Mavericks pick. Okay.
No, I kept the pick. I'm not moving this pick unless now suddenly wants to come trade for Cam Whitmore.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so before we get onto that pick, Cason Wallace, let me make my pitch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think high floor player, underrated ceiling on what he could become. He showed role malleability in his freshman year at Kentucky. The Kentucky guard inefficiency is the greatest one that the draft has known over the past 7 to 8 years. The large majority of these guys are almost always underused. I thought that he's not the greatest athlete. He doesn't have the craziest first step, but he's just really a solid all-around player that has some interesting tools, I think. I think that he has good touch. He's going to be instantly from day one, you're going to be able to plug and play him as a defender. He has, in my opinion, potentially at least fringe all defensive upside as a guard. And I think that the offense could get to the point where, can you get to a point where he's a B or a B plus on offense and he's an A on defense? That's really what the path is for me, for him to become a borderline kind of all-star-ish type guy. So
Suggs is not better than Kason. I'm sorry. I like Jalen Suggs, but he's not better than Kason Wallace. Kason Wallace is currently good enough to play an NBA rotation.
I'm going to say I trust Case and Wallace's shot a little bit more than Suggs at this point. So let's run down
the top 10 real quick.
Yeah. If Kaysen is a mid-role player, I'm fine with it at this point. You're taking cracks on guys who I think have more upside, and I think that he does have some solid upside. I just think he's good at everything, and I think that at this point I'm fine with drafting a high-level role player which is what I view him to be, if not more, in terms of upside. So
every time Trill tries to draft Kaysen Wallace somewhere, I just accuse him more and more of being a DeAnthony Melton stan.
No one has talked about how he's fucking enormous. Also,
yes. Who?
Like if the Thompson twins weren't in this draft, he's like a fucking huge point guard. Isn't he like 6'4" with like a 7-foot wingspan?
No, he's small. That's the one thing he's
compact.
Concerning. Yeah, he's compact. I was gonna say he's like stout. He's six. They said he was like 6'2.5" with shoes on, and he's like
Kaysen Wallace.
Kaysen Wallace, he's 6'4" with shoes on, but 6'2".
Okay. I'm sorry, without shoes. At the combine, he was 6'2.5". But who cares? You play in shoes. Who gives a fuck?
Shoeless measurement.
I'm sorry.
But he's built like a tank. I want to put that out there. Like he has a really low center of gravity, which is going to be really good as a multi-position defender.
Yes. I think that he's going to be able to guard 1, 2, and then a little bit up. I mean, if he's DeAnthony Melton, if I got DeAnthony Melton in the 9th pick of an average draft, then that's really good. So, I don't know. Melton's a good player. So 10th pick in the draft.
So there's two guys here that I'm legitimately considering, and once again, I'm currently drafting as the Mavericks.
I mean, you know who you're taking here.
Yeah, it's for what it's worth, it's Grady Dick.
What?
I'm joking.
Well, because of Mark Cuban?
Mark Cuban needs a white player at all times on his roster. And we've just gotten rid of Bertans. And so Grady Dick has to fill that role.
Yeah, fair enough.
I am not drafting Grady Dick for the record. I am actually torn between two players, which is I really do like both Cam Whitmore and Keontae George here. And
But for the Mavericks.
For the Mavericks, I think that there is I'm not saying Slovenians are. Oh, I forgot about Luka.
Dredd has pronounced that Luka is black on the stream. That was an old Kenny joke. When Luka was balling, he was like, "Sorry, he's not white. We've taken him in the race draft."
Jesus Christ! I really did forget about Luka.
Well, I mean, you're ahead of the curve. He won't be on the team in 2 years,
right?
So,
yeah. I would take Keontae George here.
Okay, you're taking Keontae George over Cam Whitmore for the Mavericks.
Yes, not necessarily as my
That's
rankings.
interesting.
I do have Cam Whitmore higher, but I think Keontae George.
I don't understand. They need. But if you're drafting for fit and you have Whitmore higher, how is Keontae George?
Did I not take
Kyrie
Whitmore,
and Luka?
Did I not take Whitmore over George?
You just said
I'm taking
Keontae George.
No, sorry. I'm taking Cam Whitmore. I apologize to everyone who just.
I was going to say I'm trying to figure it out because once again I'm a little bit
work though.
How would Keontae George work with
Kyrie? Because they just got rid of Jaden Hardy. So what other fucking guys scoring the ball in Dallas
above Cam Whitmore? I'm sorry for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, you have Keontae George above. Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm sorry for everyone who witnessed me have an aneurysm. But I have Keontae George as my 8th ranked player, and I have Cam Whitmore as my 10th ranked player. At that point, I'm fine with either one. I just think that at this point, like. The Mavs have to draft for fit, and also not for nothing. If Luka does ask out, Cam Whitmore is like a good enough upside swing to be at least happy about building around for a little bit.
I think in a play, I'm lower on Cam Whitmore's high end outcomes.
Sure, absolutely.
I am higher on him as a play finisher in a system where he can play off of the ball.
Yes, absolutely. I think that, once again, I have compared him multiple times to ball grinds to a stop Jaylen Brown.
Yes, there you go.
And I think that's like, he's a good, credible finishing threat with a really, really good set of movement skills. He has a really bad handle, but I think the Mavs can mostly be fine with that. I want to really keep saying, I do have Keontae George higher than him in my rankings. I think that Keontae George is, on average outcomes, a better player, but I do not think that the Mavs would or should invest time in developing him.
Okay, so Cam Whitmore goes 10.
And again, I apologize for having a complete aneurysm.
I think I'll be honest. I think the Mavericks are going to trade this pick. Everything I've heard is unless that there's a player that they really like there, who, from everything I've heard, it's Anthony Black, and he's already gone. It's pick 6. I'm going to go with. I think they'll probably end up trading this pick, but if Whitmore's on the board at 10, it's a totally fine swing. But now we have the 11th pick, and we have Parm on the board.
No.
Sam, did you just trade all your picks so you don't have to make picks?
No.
Have you literally made a single pick?
He made
one pick.
And it was Brandon Miller.
I took Brandon Miller against because I'm really making that deal for Scoot Henderson. In the Mind Palace world where that's actually happening, because I was assuming that we were all kind of behaving like the teams a little bit. So, so I don't know if I would actually make that deal for Brandon Miller, because I'm not a Brandon Miller guy at all. But I did check him.
Parm, you have the
I do, and I'm pondering.
There's 2 players again.
It's Grady Dick and Keontae George.
Exactly.
It's one of the 2.
Hold on. Let's recap here, which is they took Anthony Black earlier.
Yep. Right. Who is a wingy point guard, I guess, because he's much larger than your average point guard. Keontae George, pretty average size, but has more of an
also,
off-ball.
Keep in mind with the Anthony Black thing, they do like Michael Carter-Williams.
Yes, they love Michael
They
Carter.
love MCW, dude. They love him. They're obsessed with MCW. This is tough. This is a tough. I'm just gonna stick with my gut, who I think is the craziest player in the entirety of the draft, not named Scoot Henderson and Vic Wembanyama, and that's Keontae George.
Yeah.
All right, so you're taking Keontae.
So crazy. Like, if you haven't watched him play, you should. It's fucking unreal.
I think the worst case
scenario
would also just have him be the 3-point shooter.
Also, Grady Dick, that's
Grady Dick would be if you're just
3-point shooting. You're gonna be super happy either way.
I would take Dick here, even though I take Dick. Yeah, even though I actually really, really like Keontae George. Once again, I think the Mavs are good enough to draft for fit, but I think they're both defensible picks.
Here's the thing. Also, does
Parm,
someone
are you
want to
locking
trade
in your
this pick?
I was going to say
this pick and Jonathan Isaac. Just get Jonathan Isaac out of here.
I mean, they can
$17 million Jonathan Isaac.
He's not guaranteed. You can just get rid of Isaac.
Oh wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah, you can just get rid of him.
Why does he make 17? Why is he still
non-guaranteed contract?
Because you don't have to make.
They're owned by the DeVosses.
Yes.
Yeah, he's pre-speaking
Bonkers.
truth power.
He's a good culture fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to the actual draft, if they keep this pick, it will be either Cason Wallace or Grady Dick that they take here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from so you took Keontae George.
Yeah, because that's what I just think he's he's an unfathomable basketball player to watch. He's electric. I just don't think
right now.
I don't think standstill 3. I don't think he clears standstill 3-point goat.
All right, to recap here, because we had someone ask for a recap. Number 1 pick, Trill took Wemby, obviously. Dread took Scoot, number 2. Sam got the pick, traded to the Wizards in a very complicated deal that we will lay out at some point. He took Brandon Miller. And then the Raptors traded for the 4th pick. They traded OG Anunoby in the 13th pick for Ty Washington, Kevin Porter Jr., and they selected Amen Thompson with the 4th pick. Trill then took Jarris Walker for the Pistons in the 5th pick. Dread took Anthony Black at 6 for the Magic. Parm took Taylor Hendricks for the Pacers at 7. Parm then took Asar Thompson for the Blazers at 8, which was originally the Wizards pick. Trill took Cason Wallace for the Jazz at 9. Dread took Cam Whitmore for the Mavericks at 10. And Parm took Keontae George at 11. And now Sam is on the board. Sam, Mr. Presti, the 12th pick in the draft. You are on the board.
So I'm really torn here. Obviously, Grady Dick would be a sensational fit. I'm also... This would be a little bit of a reach here, but I really like Matthew Kurgan out of Butler, sophomore.
A player you literally just made up.
6'6". He's got a 7 foot wingspan. 36% from the 3-point. You know, like Butler does not have the strongest competition, but I really like Kurgan. He's been shooting up boards.
I have literally
really
never
hard.
heard of this person.
It is because I made him up. That is also true. Yeah.
Immediately, I knew the bit.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know who this person is. Like, I thought I knew the draft, but apparently Sam's got intel I don't.
I mean, this is. I was just trying to make this interesting because this is so obviously Grady Dick. Like, it's just the board. Like, there's no other pick to make here. Like,
I think Grady Dick is, if he is available at 12. The one thing I will say is that the recent
Bilal Coulibaly.
Well, that is the interesting one if they want to take, like, because the promise that has been made for Bilal is either going to be the Raptors, who already traded their pick, or the Thunder. I'm a little bit skeptical that the Thunder would leak anything that's real, because they never do. They're always smoke screens. But I think Grady Dick, because they absolutely need shooting around their guys. They have Isaiah Joe. They generally look for role players a little bit more on the fringes, whether it's in like the later first, second round, whatever, blah, blah. Grady Dick is certainly a good fit as a movement shooter. I personally think that that's probably who they would end up taking if they don't end up trading up. And he's still on the board here, so we'll take Grady Dick. I'm a little bit split on Grady Dick, to be honest, because I like what he can be as a player, but I also am like, the one thing that makes him not thundery to me is the fact that he can't really create. He can pass, he can shoot, he might actually end up being a better defender than people think. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder if they really just want to create like this behemoth of like 5 to 10 guys that can all dribble, pass, and shoot, which it seems like is the thing that they're trying to create. That's the only thing that he can't do. But I personally think that you would just take Grady Dick.
So in an alternative universe, and kind of I actually want to get Sam on the phone on this, but in my idealized version of the draft, the Thunder move up to take Anthony Black, and the Magic have Grady Dick.
Anthony Black feels like a very thundery player
so
to me.
I want to know from Sham Sheehan Presti, if now that Keontae George has fallen all the way to my beloved Parm here, the pick before, if a draft night selection trade might happen of Anthony Black for your drafted Grady Dick and some of those many firsts you want to get rid of anyways. Because now that Keontae George, who I was debating taking at 6 anyways, is on the Magic, I like Anthony Black. I really do. But he feels like a Thunder. Why don't we rectify this you didn't trade up moment right now? And, you're dumping picks just to get, to consolidate. You're sending the Nuggets trades during the finals.
I mean, like realistically, that just like makes sense. I actually kind of wanted Anthony Black to fall to the Rockets was what I was hoping for. I forgot that we all kind of know what we're talking about, so there's not going to be like a Nick Smith pick somewhere in here when I was like doing my math. I mean, I would probably, I don't know though. I think the Thunder are trying to win now, and I just think that Grady Dick gives them shooting, which is like what you need. Like that's just like the be all end all.
That certainly feels like the last two things they need are shooting and rim protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I'm just offering it out there just because I think on actual so Jalen Hood-Schifino and Nick Smith are not in my first round. I want to let everyone know that. But I think actual draft night, I would really love the Thunder to move up to 6 and take Anthony Black. That's kind of like my idealized world.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to stick with Sam's Grady Dick pick at 12. Sam, you're on the clock again for the Rockets at 13.
Yeah, the board broke very badly for me, and my gamble did not pay off. Because again, I there will be a stupid team that will do something dumb, and
I don't
one
think
of those
Anthony
guys
Black is going to fall this far in the draft.
Whoever, one of these guys, because this is the next cutoff in my.
Okay,
mind.
so to remind everyone, Sam traded for OG Anunoby already, so the Rockets now have OG Anunoby. He's assuming they get James Harden as well. Yeah. So, who are you considering taking here with the 13th pick? You also have the 20th pick as well for the Rockets, just as a reminder.
Yeah. I if this is like, I probably would have traded up for one of the other guys. Like if I were actually running this thing, because right here, I'm honestly thinking about taking like fucking Chris Murray, to be honest.
No, Chris Murray at 20 though.
Yeah, I mean, I know none of the. I really don't care about any of these guys. Like,
what about
this is like the part of the draft that I'm like the.
You're not taking the GG Jackson pill.
No, I'm not taking the GG back.
There's no way GG Jackson goes this high.
I guess I'm taking Jordan Hawkins or something like that too. Like this is like the other one I'm thinking of.
If you want a somewhat boring player that will, sorry to UConn's own Dread on the stream here, that is going. I wouldn't take him in the lottery.
Weirdest Starbucks order I've ever heard of.
I mean, I'll open the floor to you guys. I mean, if you want to make up, because I don't care. This is again the board dropped perfectly wrong for me. Like I really thought pitch. One of these. This is the exact place I didn't want to be. So
I think there is a player you could draft, but go ahead, Trill.
I'm going to say this much. I think that the Rockets are going to be pretty set at guard and wing. I'm not high enough on Derek Lively to take him this high. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for rim protection, you're looking for defense, you're looking for athleticism, that is kind of the guy that he's Philadelphia's own, by the way. He's from Philly.
Drafting the backup center to Usman Garuba with the 13th overall pick. Crazy to do.
Well, I guess it's like if you have James Harden, you did just trade away 2 guards, so it's not like you're super deep at guard now. So you could take a guard still. You could take like an on-ball-ish type guy. You have OG, you have Tari, you have Jabari. Those are your wings, right? Mm-hmm. You have
and you have Amon, right?
No, they didn't. They traded away the pick.
Oh yeah.
So this is the pick that they traded away for OG Anunoby.
Podcast print.
I don't think you would take Brandon Podcast here because you might get Brandon Podcast at 20. Like that's Chris Murray and him are like the 2 guys that like you might be able to get that.
Sensabaugh would be crazy.
I have my eye on Brandon Podcast for another.
I think you take for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. I think the player you take if you are the Rockets and things have broken this way is unfortunately probably Derek Lively or Leonard Miller, and that both kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this is just bad. I probably would have like traded up again. I don't think this will actually happen in a real. One of these guys is going to be available here. One of the guys who have already gone.
So
on draft night. So let's just say Lively to keep this thing moving because we are however many hours in, and the finals are on in an hour. So
yes. So we'll take Derek Lively.
I don't care about this. Feel free to call me. tell me this is stupid. So
Derek Lively has been taken with the 13th pick. Dread, you are on the board for the Pelicans now at pick 14 that you somehow tried to trade for. You tried to trade with Brandon Ingram.
I want to make very clear that was not a good trade. That was mostly for content. But excuse me, dropping my large stress steel ball. But I am actually going to take. I think what will be one of the more controversial lottery picks, but I believe in this as a Pelicans logical thing. So the Pelicans are, in theory, I don't actually think they take this pick first and foremost. I think that they are going to do whatever they can to move up. into that top 3, and I think that I think the actual Brandon Ingram trade package, not Brandon Ingram plus actually good players, but Brandon Ingram just for Simons and the third might actually happen, because I think that he's going to be the best player available for teams on draft night. But I'm going to take Bilal Coulibaly here, and I'm going to reach, and I'm prepared.
Oh, Bilal! So you're going Bilal in the lottery?
Yes, I am a Bilal believer, as many people may or may not know. And very specifically, I do not believe in him as a true star. I believe in him as like 86% of OG Anunoby. And very specifically, the skill that most fascinates me is the off-ball movement on both defense and offense. I watched a lot of French basketball, unfortunately, mostly to watch Wemby, and so I'm seeing him alongside Wemby, and he plays a really good complementary to a really good star role. And he moves across the floor so fluidly. He's one of those late growth spurts guys, and so there's a chance that he actually keeps growing a little bit more. In fact, a lot of his like underlying measurements would suggest that he's about another inch to grow. But he has a ridiculously long arm span, over 7 feet, and he's just a really, really like rangy wing who can get from behind the arc to the basket in so fast. And he catches defenders off guard. He's very lean, and so he's going to have to bulk up, and he can get pushed around. But I think he can stick in a Pelicans-like system with those defenders that they have off the bench as a relatively efficient rotation person early in his career, with the upside to grow into a really, really good player.
Yeah, I was going to say the buzz on him recently has been because he's been playing a lot better for his team in France recently. I mean, I honestly haven't read too much into him. I have to read into him more. Unfortunately, I didn't know this, but we're not allowed to draft past this part of the draft on Fanspo, so we're not going to be able to get to the full 21 picks on Fanspo. But let's just wrap it up here. We're going to have Parm, you are up next for the Atlanta Hawks. I can tell you who's still left on the board, but
no, I know who I'm taking.
Okay, who you taking?
I'm gonna pretend that the Trey stuff, whatever the Hawks are doing, it depresses me and makes me sad. So I'm just gonna not think about that and just pick a player I think would be nice to have for them as currently constructed, and that's just Bryce Sensabaugh.
Bryce Sensabaugh.
I think it's the biggest tragedy they had was trading Kevin Huerter. This feels.
Get a shooter, get a ball handler. I like Bryce Sensabaugh. I have him.
Sometimes you just draft a guy that's good.
Yeah, he's just going to be good. That's pretty much. If you don't know anything about Bryce Sensabaugh, he's a bucket and a problem, and will be absolutely a favorite of Ball Don't Stop. I do think that he has a lot to work on in terms of his defense and his passing and all of those things. But I do like him, especially at pick 15. Like, I think that's a good value pick. Sam, you're on the board for the Jazz. Do you want us to just select someone for you, or would you like to take Brandon Podcast?
I'm thinking about I am thinking about Brandon Podcast here. I will say that. Yeah. I mean, does anyone want to trade up? First of all,
I mean, I'm the Heat. I'll move up 2 picks, and I'll give you a second.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do that. Lock it in.
Actually, I don't want to. Never mind. I see who's on the board. I lied to you.
Okay.
I remember what he'd do with the seconds. I can't do that.
Okay, never mind. All right. Well, yeah, So this is the problem with selecting for the Jazz is that they are just such a hodgepodge of talent. You have no idea like who's coming and who's going. At any point, remind me again who you took for the Jazz with your pick.
Cason Wallace.
Cason Wallace, okay.
I had to pick between him and Cam Whitmore. I went with Cason Wallace.
Okay, so they already have a point guard.
Doesn't really matter. He can play on or off ball, so it's not like
I mean, you have Clarkson too, who had a phenomenal year last year.
Let's go,
yeah.
Jordan Clarkson.
The young bull.
I'm considering my Jordan Clarkson when making my draft pick.
So I would definitely assume that it would be like, if he's still here, it would be Kobe Buffkin.
Someone like that, sure. Yeah. That sounds about right. So
I'm throwing off your group think here. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. I am going to take Brandon Podcast. Fuck this.
All right.
Let's go.
Brandon Podcast goes with the 16th pick to Sam, just outside the lottery. A real riser, Brandon Podcast. YKB favorite.
The moment his last name became Podcast, it was over.
Yeah. Brandon Podcast. That's his name.
Okay, so I am picking with the 17th pick here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Lakers. My God.
Yeah, the Lakers are on the board. I want to be completely clear here. I don't think I would draft this player. I think the Lakers would draft Jordan Hawkins here. I think the Lakers would just take the guy that he can plug and play right away, can play with LeBron, can play with AD, can play with whatever. I do think they would take Jordan Hawkins here. I'm split here. You know what? Will's going to hate me for this. I'm taking Jet Howard. Fuck it.
Let's go.
Hey, did you know that he was teammates with his father? LeBron James?
Juwan
Howard was on the Heat,
connection.
right?
Played for. I'm going. Lakers scouting staff loves guys with interesting upside. They're always. They might take. They might if they want to win now. Player, you're probably better off taking Hawkins or Buffkin here. But if they want to take a swing and they want to take a guy towards the that has a little bit more upside that they might be able to mold into a player because they seemingly hit on these picks all the time. I'm taking the guy with size who has real shooting potential. I know Will and a lot of Michigan fans hate him, but we're going with Jet Howard.
I just want to say all of you are monsters for letting legitimately good players get to the Miami Heat pick. Like, we should all be tried in a tribunal.
They don't pick good players for their first round picks.
I understand that.
I've been trying to tell people this. They're gonna this guy, whoever they take here, is gonna suck.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think it's so. In the spirit of that, I'm drafting Zvonimir Izovic out of SC Derby, Montenegro. Not actually. I have an actual pick, and I think unfortunately it makes them very good. I've been waking up with nightmares thinking about him getting to them, and that is Chris Murray.
Chris Murray, okay.
He's so good.
Chris Murray's I wanted to take I tried to take Chris Murray at 13 and you guys yelled at me.
I only yelled at you because I wanted to take him with my picks. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's old as hell, but he could just play now. He's just his brother a little bit slower.
He's duplicated. He's copy and pasted. Look, how many times do we have to learn this?
Well, Keegan's definitely faster, and he's definitely a movement shooter, high volume guy. But
we don't know that.
Chris will probably be a pretty good role player. I think, and he's once again Miami. I'm kind of surprised if Miami were on the board here, they would either go one of two ways. I think they would either go with the toolsy guys. Yeah, they'd either take the toolsy guy, or they take Buffkin, or they take I think I could see them taking a Leonard Miller type like they did with Precious Achua or KZ Okpalo a few years ago. They tend to take a little bit more of swings with raw guys.
Yeah, and this is me drafting for me, Dread, the person who believes that Chris Murray is just going to be an NBA starter.
You're correct.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Yeah, I think he's a solid pick. Sure.
I seriously think he's once you get out of that cutoff Grady Dick, Keontae George tier, I think he's the next best player. Honestly,
so Parm.
Yep,
you're up for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's time. This time, the real Parm heads. They knew it. They know it's going to happen.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
Wait. Is Lester Quionis in this draft?
No, he's not. He went last year.
Oh, no. Who's the other guy from Memphis?
Not the Memphis guy. It's not Earl Timberlake or something crazy, no.
No. There's someone else that I can't think of from Memphis that you love. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That's not who I was thinking of, though.
Zvonimir.
I'm taking the last kiss. The last kiss of Bob Myers before he leaves. just one out. It's Terkavian Smith.
Let's go!
It's the best pure scorer in the entire NBA draft. He's out of his fucking mind. We're gonna trade Jordan Poole for beans. Doesn't even matter.
Let's go.
It's her time.
I love Terkavian Smith, but He's a second rounder.
I don't care a lick about defense. We're the Golden State Warriors.
That's right. He's going to go in the second round, but it doesn't matter. This is all James Jones feel right now. This is literally just
lethal.
We want him. We're going to get him.
Deep in his bag.
All right, Sam, you're up for the Rockets.
I can't believe you guys let me get here. I got my guy here for the Houston Rockets. We're taking Marcus Sasser. Let's fucking go.
Ooh, I love Marcus Sasser.
Let's go.
I love Marcus Sasser, but I want him to get to the Celtics at 35, so you're not allowed to do this.
No, sorry. Marcus Sasser.
Sasser coming home
Houston
would be
Rocket.
crazy.
We're officially, and this is and now we are at pick 21. We got Wemby plus 20 picks, and to make up for drafting Jet Howard ahead of Kobe Buffkin, I will be gifting our friends who root for the Brooklyn Nets with Kobe Buffkin at pick 21. To be clear, Kobe, there is no way in hell Turk Smith, Marcus Sasser, and probably even Brandon Podcast go ahead of Kobe Buffkin. It does sound like Buffkin's probably going to go in like possibly the lottery in teens. But Buffkin, all around good guard, can do a ton of things. There really isn't. He doesn't have a ton of flaws in his game. I think that he'll probably be a rotation player pretty early. He's still fairly young.
Yeah.
Once again, I like role malleability. Showed a lot of role malleability at Michigan. So Kobe Buffkin is the last pick in the YKB 2023 mock draft.
Tried for war crimes.
Yeah, I mean it got a little bit off the rails in the last.
There's so many good players in this draft too. I
genuinely think. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't like 15 to or 13 to 21, but I love it. Like, picks back up again. It starts getting fun again.
Dude, as Wallace to Bellis does miracles on me.
Yeah,
that guy's magic.
I genuinely think Marcus Sasser is going to be an NBA player for a long time. He's a 6'7" wingspan.
You just like Terry Rozier. You're just a Marcus Sasser's fan because you're so Terry Rozier fan.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yes, he's going to be good. I'm telling you, Marcus Sasser's an NBA player.
Dude, he's been the GOAT of the last 2 years of Combine games. He just shows up and just cooks.
He's so good. He's so good. I'm hugely Marcus Sasser pilled.
Sasser's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Sasser staying in Houston.
Oh, I like fun is good.
So to recap, Wemby, Scoot, Brandon Miller on the Wizards, Amen Thompson on the Raptors, Jarris Walker on the Pistons at 5, Anthony Black at 6, Taylor Hendricks at 7, Osor Thompson at 8, Kaysen Wallace at 9, Cam Whitmore at 10, Keontae George at 11, Grady Dick at 12, Derek Lively at 13 to the Rockets. Pelicans take Bilal, 15, Bryce Sensabaugh, the Hawks, Brandon Podcast to the Jazz at 16, Jet Howard at 17 to the Lakers, Chris Murray to the Heat at 18, Turk Smith at 19 to the Warriors. Let's go. Marcus Sasser at 20 to the Rockets, and at 21, Kobe Buffkin to the Nets. So that was it. NBA Finals are on tonight, which doesn't matter nearly as much as this.
Bye-bye.
All right, so put all your money on the Heat after Sam just made that call, because that means that they're bound to have Tyler Hero come off the bench and score 45 points.
I'm sorry. Do you not understand how things work, Sam? The moment Tyler Hero comes in, it's just going to be, he's going to go off for 14 points and 12, somehow still be a minus 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're going to lose by 40 tonight because Tyler Hero is back. That's waving the white flag. They're Dunions. It's over. Stick a fork in them. Cheeks. The clock has struck midnight. Jimmy Butler's already doing attention quotes. He's surrendered. He's saying he won't go to the Hall of Fame inductee for himself. He rules, dude. He's so sick. I love Jimmy.
All right, that's it. We will see you on draft night. We'll be back later in the week. Also, if you're still listening, subscribe to the Ball Patreon, because you're a sicko if you're still listening almost 2 hours into this mock draft where we made some of the most absurd trades and picks of any fucking mock draft in the history of the NBA. So,
I just keep seeing names.
Parm, I gotta admit, you are a bad influence. You make me want to make bad trades.
I love making bad trades. It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to take solid players that are like high on my rankings, and then Parm suddenly like,
You don't even understand. I almost took Turkavian's. What fucking pick did I have? What fucking pick did I have? Orlando. I almost gave him the 11th overall pick. Dead serious. He's so fucking crazy.
I'm so glad I left that Keontae George got left for you, because otherwise you would have.
For anyone
Keontae George,
who's
my
listening,
number one, Turk, number two.
For anyone who's still listening, Turkavian Smith is currently projected to go with the 37th pick on Tankathon to the Denver Nuggets, and then 2 picks ahead of him is 35 and Marcus Sasser.
The Sasser and Brandon podcast are going to make you all look foolish, as will Chris Murray. We respect Chris Murray adequately, though.
To be fair, I would take both of those players before I would take Nick Smith or Jalen Hood-Schifino.
They both didn't get drafted. I'll say this much. If I had one more pick and Kobe Buffkin was off the board, I would have taken the fuck it upside swing on Nick Smith, even if I think that he's not good. So
right. You eventually just take him.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever.
If Tommy Shepard were still the GM of the Wizards, you could lock that in at 8, like guarantee for sure that Nick Smith would be drafted at 8. Like,
exactly.
I gotta be honest with you when it comes to the Chris Murray stuff. Like, I get that he's old. I get that he's slower than his brother. I guess that he's not going to be a star. But like, why would he not just go to every team that wants to win now?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a role player at the very minimum.
But that's the thing, is that every team wants to win now. There's like 3 teams that are going to be losers next year. It's like the Wizards, Pistons, and they don't even know it, and the Hornets are like the 3 teams that are going to be bad. Every other team is trying to win.
That's why I took upside swings, because fuck it, it's fun. It's fun to take upside swings. I'd be the worst GM in the NBA.
It's so funny because I know what your actual board looks like, and it's just the most safe. Like,
I know, but if I'm doing a mock draft, I want to have fun. It's not, oh cool, I drafted the 7th man. Like,
yeah, I want to make it very clear. I drafted Bilal Coulibaly at 14, not because I actually think that he's the right fit purely for the Pelicans, but because I want an excuse to talk about him, and I think he'll be fine for the Pelicans.
Yeah,
I like upsides are fun. Like, draft fun players.
No, yes. Safe players only. I don't like upside players. I don't like guys that are good. I like role players only.
Lively.
I took Derek Lively, and I'm going to get a picture of a gun sent to me by
I want to point out, like, Zion is going to find you. You have somehow massacred the Rockets draft.
I got Amen Thompson and Ty Washington. Let's go.
I'm gonna tell you right now, what I did, I guarantee you, is better than what will actually happen.
Hey, I'm just saying all seven of the Wizards faithful loving Brandon Miller.
Let's go.
Oh my God! I got to be honest. I'm not ready for the Washington Bullets jokes that are going to come around with Brandon Miller.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that one. All right. We're canceling the trade. Call it off.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, nobody's listening at this point. Hopefully.
Peace.
All right, I'll see you.